Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Bonsai's Forever. So in this episode, I'm going to be working on a beech tree. It's an American beech. So the scientific name is Fagus grandifolia. So this is a tree that I got as nursery stock. It has been a couple of years. I think I've had this tree about going on 3 years now. This is the third spring for this tree. It's been kind of just growing in this pot. I don't remember if I've done any videos on this tree right off the top of my head. I mean, if I have, I'll put a link in the description. So this tree has been growing unencumbered this whole spring. I've just been letting it grow out and letting the foliage harden off so that I can trim it back. So you don't want to be trimming it back as it's growing its foliage and before it hardens off, because while it's growing its foliage, the tree is using the energy that it has stored up for the winter, or from the winter from last summer or last year, all last year. So as it's growing, you want to just let it grow. And then once the leaves harden off, this is the time that we want to go back and prune it. We want to go back and cut back some of the branches. This tree hasn't been styled at all yet, so I think I'm going to do some wiring today. I'm also going to trim it back and possibly remove a couple of the branches that aren't going to be part of the concept. So if we move in here a little bit closer, I've actually been studying this tree for a couple of days now, trying to decide what I want to do, what I want to keep, what I want to take off, how I want to wire it, all that stuff, and not touching it. That's been the hardest part. I just want to just go ahead and do the work, but I have not, so that I can do this video for y'all. I really like this tree. It's a really cool tree. It does have some burnt leaves, so I think I'm sure this tree is going to be a tree that you're going to want in some partial shade. It does like a lot of water, They don't like sitting in water in soggy feet, but they do like to drink a lot of water. Their leaves are very thin and really wide, and broad. So that's why you get burnt edges, because it didn't have quite enough water and it was perspirating too much to be able to keep up with it. So I put it into a shadier spot, and I also started watering it a little bit more, and now the newer leaves at the ends don't have any burned tips on them, so we're doing good with that. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, I've kind of given you a spin around of the tree already, and it is quite a tall tree. It's quite a tall tree. It is currently sitting at about 30 inches. I don't know what that is in centimeters or meters or anything, so if you're in the UK or England or something, or where they use metric system, probably anywhere but the US, you can convert that over. But anyway, yeah, so it's a pretty tall tree. I don't necessarily want to keep it that tall, but I do want to start working on the shape of the canopy, because I want this to look like a beech tree and have like kind of a roundish canopy on it. I don't want it to look like an umbrella or anything like that. I want it to have some uneven tips on it, because most trees that I see in nature have some kind of uneven growth. They're not perfectly round. Maybe from a distance it kind of looks like that, but like when you get up close, you can see branches kind of poking out here and there. So that's kind of what I'm going to go for. I want to go for a very natural look on this tree. It's already got quite a bit of movement in the trunk, and it's got really nice taper. I am pretty certain this was grown from a seed, and I don't know how old this tree is. If I had to guess, I would guess it's probably about 8, 9, 10 years old, something like that, or pretty close. It has been in a pot its whole life. It's never been in the ground, so it's been in this particular pot for going on 3 years now. I have not repotted it, and the water percolates through the soil really easily still, so I'm not going to be repotting it until the water doesn't go through the soil easily. When it starts pooling on the surface of the soil, I'll do a repot and go through and make sure all the roots are good, make sure that it's got a radial root base, and we'll go from there. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to cut off all the branches that don't have leaves on them, because I am pretty sure that they've died back. So sometimes you're going to lose branches from the winter. It just happens. It's a deciduous tree. That's just something that happens with deciduous trees from my understanding and from my experience. It just some of them just die back, and that's okay. It's okay, because that's what happens in nature. It's a natural thing, so we don't really have to worry about that. Actually, I might leave this one because it kind of looks natural. I'm gonna break the table. Trying to see if that one has a bud on it or not. It should be growing by now. If it isn't, then it's probably going to be a weak branch anyway. Alright, so it looks like I got all the dead pieces off. Wasn't too many. Just a couple of small branches didn't make it. There's a dead piece right here. Trim that back. All right, so now what I'm doing is going to trim off some of the longer pieces here. I want to trim these back to, I think I'm going to trim them back to 4 leaves. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to cut it off right here, just like this. And I'm doing that to hopefully get each one of these to shoot a branch, and they get more ramification in the tree. So I'm going to go ahead and go back and do that to all the branches. So on this one you can see I've got a branch here, I've got a branch here, and then I've got the new growth right here, and that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to cut the end of it off right here. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just leave a little tip on here, just like that, on all the cuts that I do. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to cut this one right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that to all the branches here. And there's 1 branch, 4. And if I don't have 4, I'm not cutting anything off of that one. And this one's got 1, 2, 3, 4, and the tip. So I'm just cutting the tip off there. See, like this one, it's got 5, but I'm gonna leave that one. So yeah, this is going to allow the tree to start to get some more ramification, and I'm hoping that this actually causes it to back bud a little bit. which would be kind of nice. Getting some more foliage on the inside here. This isn't a difficult process. This is something that you can do relatively quickly. The pruning process, and if you're not looking to wire the tree, then just doing this is it's actually a pretty quick process. I am definitely going to be wiring this tree because there's a considerable amount of branches that are going in a funky direction right up inside of other branches, blocking other branches, that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be kind of spreading everything out so that it all has more room to grow. Now I'm looking at the top of the tree, trying to decide if I want to take the top of the tree off or not. So I think I am going to do this. So what I'm looking at here, all right, so what I'm looking at here is the trunk comes up, it's getting taper and it's getting taper, and then it comes to this spot right here, and then it kind of goes off this way. I've got a cut spot right here, and then all of this, and then it gets really tall and leggy up here, and the branches are just really long right here with no growth below them. So they don't have a whole lot of growth in here. They've got a couple of branches, but there's a lot of space, and there's a lot of space. And then over on this side, everything seems to be a lot tighter. And I could have the tree come up. I could have the tree come up and then kind of go off this side. And then this branch is kind of going off in this direction. So that could make the canopy over here, and this can make the canopy over here. So I'm going to go ahead and take this top part off, and I'm going to cut it flush right here, flush right across here, so that this can heal, and then we can do some work later once this is dyed back or calloused over. Then I can do some work to make this wound here not look like this wound. So this one I didn't know how to do this process, and this one I do know. So I'm going to make it to where I can do that process. And this isn't going to work. I need to get a larger pair of straight cutters. These will work, but these won't work. We just use a pair of garden shears. So this, I'm not 100% sure if I can propagate this, but you know me, I'm gonna try it. So what I'm gonna do though is I'm going to remove all the leaves. But when I cut the leaves, I'm not going to cut them right at the end. I'm going to cut a little bit off to where I have that much of the leaf left, and I'm cutting the tip off of the branch. So I'm going to cut the leaves off like that. Because for one, we already talked about the fact that these leaves perspirate a lot, and we don't want the leaves to get rid of all of the water in the branch so that it can root if it's going to. Because that would be pretty cool to have 2 of these trees. Because currently this is my only one. So get rid of all the quite a bit of the leaves. Most of it actually. Like I said, I'm taking the end of the branches off too, so that they can possibly start their ramification process as well. All right, so the reason why we cut the ends of the branch off is because we want to get rid of the auxin. The auxin is the hormone in the end of the branch that causes the branch to keep growing longer and longer. So if you get rid of the end of the branch, you're getting rid of that hormone, which causes the tree to, typically it'll cause it to either backbud or cause where the leaves are or the nodes to create leaves or create branches from the base of the leaf. So we want to get more and more ramification, so therefore we help it to do so by removing the auxin. So I got this branch cut off. I got the top branch cut off. I think that I might take this branch off as well. It's kind of underneath of this other main branch right here. And one thing I've noticed about this tree, it kind of seems like it's growing in a flat plane. So I want to really try to see if I can get some backbudding on the trunk of the tree. And if not by the end of this year, if I don't have any backbudding on the trunk of the tree next year, so I'll be grafting a couple of branches. So yeah, hopefully we can look forward to seeing that. Well, I'm talking about wiring here. So one thing with wiring, you want the same angle, same spacing, and no gaps. So basically what that means is the angle right here and the angle right here, you want it to be pretty similar, and then the spacing in between, you want that to be pretty similar all the way down. And then you want no gaps, which means you don't want gaps in between the wire and the branch. And then the other thing is you want to face, or the end of the wire should go under the branch or over the branch, but obviously it would be going under the branch anyway. So you want it to go under the branch and point in the direction that you want to bend that branch. So now if I want to just hold this branch here, it doesn't really matter. But I do want to bend this branch a little bit this way and then a little bit that way. And I kind of wanted to twist it a little bit going this direction. So when you're going to twist a branch, you want the wire to go the way you're twisting it so that it tightens up and doesn't loosen, because you don't want to loosen the wire. You want it to tighten up as you're bending the branch. All right. And then with the other branch, I'm going to go around this way. And so this is the first styling. So I am bending all the primary branches on this styling. So typically when you wire a tree, you're going to wire the primary branches first, get those set right where you want them, and then if you have like larger secondary branches, then you can go ahead and wire some of the secondary branches out too. But on this tree, it's still kind of a young tree and I don't have large secondary branches, so all I'm going to be doing is wiring out the primary branches to get the basic shape of the tree, and then next year, if it's ready for it, then we'll bend the secondary branches. All right, so I want this to keep some of its some movement, because it's got some really cool movement in it, but I want to move this branch over here because I don't want everything all in the same line or same plane as the other branches. So I'm trying to move them around a little bit to where I've got some movement and I've got some branches in different areas on the tree, rather than all the branches being flat with the tree. It's like I've told you guys a million times, I like to have my trees look as natural as possible. So I'm not looking to make a two-dimensional tree here. I'm looking to make a three-dimensional tree. So now I'm being really careful at the end. I am not going to make this to where it's tight on the branch at the end, but I do want to have some control over the end of this branch. So I am putting some wire on there. Now this branch kind of goes off in this direction because it had a branch here and here that died off some other time. I don't know when they did. I don't know if they were on there excuse me, when I got the tree or not, but I kind of want to straighten that out just a little bit. I don't want to take the whole bend out of it, but I don't want it to be a 90-degree angle right there. And then I want to bring this branch over in this area so that it's taking up some of this space over here. So already that's changed the look of the tree. And then this one, I want all of the branches also to go in a slight upward motion with a deciduous tree like this, because that's how they grow. So this branch, I don't know if this branch is going to stay on the tree permanently, or if this is going to be the first branch, because this branch is actually larger than this branch. So what I might do is let this branch run. I did not cut this branch at all because it's kind of a weak branch. So I didn't trim that branch at all. There you go, that looks better. All right, now I'm gonna trim the ends. And then I think this might be enough wire for this branch. I'm gonna go just a little bit down this branch here, because this is a small, very thin branch, and this is a pretty thick piece of wire. So I'm just gonna go over this here. And I don't need to wire this one all the way to the end anyway, so. And because this is quite a thin branch, the same angle, same spacing and no gaps and all that stuff, it's necessary but not as necessary. And I did bend it the opposite direction of the wire too, so I'm not perfect. Alright, but I do kind of want this branch to go outwards from this other branch. I really would like to get, I like that. I like that. I'm going to leave it like that. Alright, so then this branch, it comes straight out from the trunk this direction, and then it's a 90 right here. I really don't like that, but that's the only branch right there. And it is kind of close having 3 branches right here. I think I might take that one off. Yeah, I'm just going to take this one off. I don't have to worry about it at all. Just like that. Yeah, that did well. That did good. Like it. Okay. I'm looking at my wire to see if I have thicker wire, because this branch is a lot sturdier than that. That's as sturdy as this part, and this part doesn't seem to stay when I bend it. So I might need thicker wire. Let's see what the thickness is on this. I think this is the same thickness. I don't have my wire labeled. I probably should label it. You can use a piece of copper wire on this. Don't know if this is going to be thick enough to bend this either. this wire should do. All right, so I'm going to see if this is long enough. I think I'm going to bend this branch and this branch together. So I'm going to wire those two together. I don't even know if I need to wire this branch. Okay, so I'm just gonna go, I really don't know if I do want to wire that branch at all. I don't need to wire that branch. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the end of the wire and I'm going to just go around that branch for an anchor. I'm gonna try really hard not to rub the bark off of this branch because beech trees have kind of a thin bark on them. So I'm going to go under the branch here so that the wire's wrapping this way so I can bend this branch out this direction. It's going to be fun taking this wire off. Having a thicker piece of aluminum wire would probably be a better way to go at this, except that I don't have thicker copper wire, aluminum wire. So we will get this done anyway. You just have to be a little bit more careful, and you just have to take your time and hold it tighter with the copper. Because I'm trying to hold just the wire here along with the branch I'm trying to hold the copper wire with the branch so that I don't damage the branch here. And the closer to the end of the branch I get, the more likely it is to damage it. So I'm going to just be really careful here. That's as far as I'm going to go. All right, so now that I got that wire on there, I want to bend this branch kind of to where it's not necessarily straight, but I want it not to be going like off at a crazy angle like it is right now. I want it to appear as though it's growing on a tree and not in a cartoon. Because it can have some really cool bends, because I think that looks like a pretty cool bend on it. Make sure you guys can see what I'm looking at. Yeah, it looks like a pretty decent branch there. But I just don't want it to look like a cartoon tree, but I want it to have some character to it. There we go. Yeah, because this part here was like way over here. It was facing like totally the wrong direction. And now it's kind of filling in this space over here, which also makes the tree look more like it's got a round canopy on it. All right, yeah, I think I like that. So now I'm going to take the end of this wire off. I'm going to leave a good portion of wire on here so that I can grab that with my pliers, or I will probably cut all of this wire off. And I'm not going to wrap this. I'm going to leave that hanging up like that too. All right, now I want to bend this branch to where it's not kind of a loop like that. I kind of want it to be in an upward fashion. I might let these branches go for now. Let them recover, see what comes of them. I'm gonna think about that while I wire this other branch out, because I might want to bend, or yeah, I might want to put some wire on those too. What am I thinking here? I want to go over this branch. Yeah, I want to go over this branch. Normally I don't use the loop like this here. Normally I don't use the loop like this, but it's a short piece, so I'm just going to run with it. And I can see some spots on the tree that might be buds, so I'm gonna try not to knock those off. All right, now like I was on the other branch, I'm at the end, so I'm gonna just kind of go around the branch, but nice and gentle, nice and easy, so that I don't damage the end of the branch here. I'm gonna take this off. All right, I do want to put it somewhere. This branch, so I can bend that one out a little bit better. So it looks like changing the settings on my camera was what I needed to do to fix the issue. I think I had the frames per second or minute or whatever it is too high, so the memory card wasn't fast enough for it. And I am not sure if it's necessary to get a faster memory card or just reduce the speed of frames per minute. I'm going to kind of straighten this one up a little bit and bring this to where it's kind of facing outwards a little bit. I want to have some movement in this branch, but I don't, like I said, I don't want to be too crazy with it. I do want to have some movement in there. But I also don't want to bend the other branches to where they're going back in towards the trunk either. Alright, so I'm going to grab another piece of wire. I think this is thick enough. Yeah, this will be thick enough. Then I am going to bend these to where they're facing a reasonable direction. Although these branches are pretty thin, So I am going to have to watch this really closely over the next couple of weeks to make sure that the wire doesn't dig in, because I do know that the beech tree has pretty thin bark on it and it will get damaged from the wire, and it's going to be really hard to fix any damage later on or get it to grow out. So I want to make sure and keep an eye on the wire really closely to keep from damaging the bark on this tree. Whoops. Throwing stuff. Alright. Now let's move these up. That's what's going to come up in here. So I'm going to put this branch to where it's kind of going upwards like this, and then these branches are going to be kind of down below that branch. Of course I get a fly in here. And this one's going to be kind of down over here too, kind of like that. Yeah, there we go. That looks better. All right, now I'm going to want to wire this branch to where it's not going just straight up in the air like it is. And then I'm going to wire it to this branch as well. So I'm kind of thinking that wiring these might be easier without all the leaves on it. I'm not going to defoliate it, but I'm thinking maybe fall, as the leaves are starting to turn or starting to fall off. I think that would be a better time to wire this. Also at that point, it's going to be building vascular tissue, which is the roots and the bark and all that stuff. So that would help also to heal the bends in the branch to make them stay where you want them to stay. But I am gonna try this and see how this works. I want to put this branch here, and I want it to be kind of creeping up, but not too much. There we go. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing here. All right, so that one looks good. I think I might be able to use this piece of wire. Nope. All right, so now I want to bend this branch because it's just curling back in towards the tree. I want to bend this branch out, or I might just take that branch off. I want to leave that branch. All right, so I'm gonna wire these two branches together. And if you don't know yet, you're new to bonsai, you really want to try and wire two branches together. Wiring two branches together is ideal because you get better holding with the wire. The branches hold better and they bend easier. I'm really hoping to get some back budding on this particular branch. If not, it will have to come off because that just doesn't look right. I'm going to try and straighten out a little bit of this 90-degree angle right here. I don't want to ever really straighten anything out to where it's like straight. So obviously trees don't grow like that, but I don't want like 90-degree bends in the branches because there was a 90 right here. It looked like that. Right here's like a 90. I don't want that. So I'm going to bend it kind of out this way, come back in here, so it kind of does that. So now this branch can be a part of the canopy on this side of the tree, and hopefully these two branches do well and grow out a little bit, and then we can get some more ramification on here. All right. The only other thing I see after that, I think all the wiring looks pretty good. I'm kind of wondering about this branch. That branch could be wired later. I think I might just leave that one there. The only other thing is this branch here. I'll bring you guys back a little bit. This one right here. It's kind of larger at the top of the tree than I want, and it's kind of coming off just not in the right spot. So I'm thinking I'm also not liking this branch being at the top of the tree. So I think I'm going to take both of those off, and I'm going to take them off right here, and I'm going to leave a space like I did down lower, like right here, so that I can try and fix that later on. So yeah, I think that looks way better. Yeah, that looks good. Right on. I really like this. I like how it's looking. I like how it turned out. Yeah, I really like how that turned out. This is gonna grow nicely. And then obviously later on I'll give you guys an update on how it did with the wiring when I take the wire off. I'll do a video of that so you guys can see how everything turned out. I always like to clean up everything when I'm done, so that when I come back out here for my next project, I don't have to clean up and figure out where everything's at. It's all put away and all that stuff. So anyway, let's do a spin around of the tree. I'm gonna see if my screen is probably not big enough. No, it's close. Let's put this behind it. See if we can see it a little bit better, so that we don't have all this other stuff back here, so we can see what the tree looks like. Move those out of the way. Yeah, that's perfect. That looks good. All right, so now I'm gonna do a spin around for you guys, and so yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for all the new subscribers and the old subscribers for sticking around. I really appreciate that. I know I haven't been putting out regular videos. Life happens. I am working on a couple more videos tonight, like editing and stuff. So I've got more stuff coming out, and honestly, you'll probably see that before you see this. So, yeah, you'll know I've got more stuff coming out. But anyway, yeah. So thanks for watching. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to the channel, and there's a link in the description for an Amazon wish list. It's really helpful for people to use that and purchase stuff on the Amazon, and it helps me out. So yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.